Please welcome WLN Conference Co-Chairs Linda Brown and Leslie Spivak.
Thank you all, and thanks to Leslie for serving as my co-chair for this year's Women to Women Conference. I'm so proud to be a part of the Women's Leadership Network, empowering women to achieve dignity and economic independence through sustainable employment. Today, we celebrate the conference's 10th anniversary, but we also celebrate our wonderful clients and their successes. With the support of the WLN, the programs of JVS SoCal provide job skills and career training and assist women to start rewarding new careers in banking, nursing, healthcare administration, apartment maintenance, and management. Over 3,500 women since our founding. There's so many inspiring individuals who make today and the work WLN does possible. I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, and please hold your applause until the end. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Terry and Jerry Cole. Our empowerment sponsors, Susan W. Robertson of blessed memory, Carl W. Robertson, Kara W. Robertson, and Chip and Carrie Robertson. Our encouragement sponsors, First Citizens Bank, Barbara and Tom Leands, Don Levin Trust, and Debbie and Rick Powell. Our inspiration sponsors, our impact sponsors, our essential sponsors, and our vital sponsors. You all make it possible, and we thank you all.
Thank you, Linda. It's been a pleasure to co-chair this special day with you. I'm so happy we can all be here together at this incredible Skirball Center after all the challenges in the last few years we have all had. I've always been impressed by the resiliency of our clients and their ability to withstand adversity and bounce back and grow despite of life's downturns. For me, being here today for our 10th conference has also proven just how resilient our organization is. I reflect on those 10 years of conferences and all the amazing speakers and clients who have shared their stories with us. I'd like to take a moment to remember one of those women, Barbara Morrison, the legendary jazz and blues singer who passed away in March of this year. Barbara was a highlight of our 2017 WLN conference, where she sang her way into all our lives, and we thank her. She will be missed. And now it is with great pleasure to introduce our host for today's conference, my friend, Giselle Fernandez. Giselle is a 7-time Emmy Award-winning journalist and a 2-time winner of the LA Press Club's Journalist of the Year. She anchors Your Morning on Spectrum One News and Emmy Award-winning series LA Stories with Giselle Fernandez. And of course, I have all my friends watching Giselle and listening to her podcast. Giselle hosted our groundbreaking virtual conference last year, and we're so fortunate to have her with us here today. Please welcome my good friend, Giselle Fernandez. And I don't know if you all know, but today was Velvet Day.
It's very in fashion. Thank you, beautiful Leslie. Thank you, Linda, so much. How lovely to be with all these women powerhouses. I'm so thrilled to welcome you to the 2022 Women to Women Conference. Put your hands together. We're going to make it a church. As Leslie shared with you, last year we had this virtual timeout, but I'm so happy that we could gather in person. It makes such a difference when we can be together in community. Our annual conference is presented by JVS SoCal Women's Leadership Network, or WLN. Oh my gosh, this is a group that is absolutely dedicated to serving women who are in career crisis or transition, including women who just may be launching their careers and just need a break, right? As the conference celebrates its 10th birthday this year, we also celebrate our resilient spirit, how far we've come. It's so important to do this, to honor our resilience. Resilience is about suffering setbacks, but it's also about finding the way to move forward. It's like climbing a mountain without a rail map. It takes time, it takes strength, and it takes help from people around you. And you'll likely still experience setbacks along the way. It's just the way of life. But eventually, you reach the top, and then you look back and you say, wow, I have come so far. All of us have experienced a setback. What we often don't do is then get to the top and go, wow, look how far we've come. We just look at the next peak to climb. As women, we are so uniquely able to face challenges, so uniquely able to adapt and move forward. Elizabeth Edwards has this great quote. She described it like this: she stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her away, she adjusted her sails. We all do that. Yeah, put your hands together. We're in a cathedral. But sometimes, as so many of us have experienced, that path forward can seem like a bridge too far. And that's when JVS SoCal Women's Leadership Network offers the support needed to help women chart a new course with dignity and empowerment and a sense of grandeur of who they are. The programs and impact grants of JVS SoCal Women's Leadership Network empower women in so many ways to discover and develop their own resilient spirit. And we are all so appreciative that you are here to show your support. Thank you so very, very much. So you can clap if you want to. It's a perfect point to do so. Don't hold back. We have an amazing program of speakers today. Amazing. I happen to know these women personally. I've been deeply inspired by their stories, their resilience, their leadership, their vision, and how they pass that on and empower others. There's Liza Bercovici, Lorna Little, and Chief Kristen Crowley. They have all faced their own personal challenges, but they've all found a way forward that have transformed their communities, and they are changing the world and inspiring not just women and little girls, but humanity with their grace. So it is my honor to begin by introducing you to our first featured speaker, who has touched my heart deeply, and she will touch yours by turning just travesty and tragedy into transformative leadership. Liza Bercovici. Liza is an innovative leader in education. She founded the Everybody Dance LA program and the award-winning Gabriella Charter Schools in the wake of her daughter Gabriella's tragic death in 1999. Her focus on educational equity has made a difference in the lives of thousands of children in Los Angeles, providing them with opportunities to express themselves and pursue their dreams. Here's a little more on Liza's story. Please watch.
It was the end of summer vacation. Liza Bercovici, her husband, and kids in the Grand Tetons cycling together to get the most of their last day when tragedy struck. A van up ahead would swerve and kill Liza's 13-year-old daughter, Gabriella, in a blink of an eye, changing lives forever.
For weeks, I had no idea what was going on. I could hardly get out of bed. And my life was turned up inside out and upside down, and the same for my family.
It was clear to Liza she could not return to work as a family law attorney. The grief too great. and the yearning to memorialize her daughter too overwhelming. It would become her driving mission. Without any nonprofit or dance background, Liza created the Gabriella Foundation, now called Everybody Dance LA. For more than 20 years, it's provided low-cost after-school programs for kids in public housing and in-school dance programs as well.
We have something that we're doing in Gabri's name that, you know, is helping other kids, which is what Gabri was about and would have been about if she'd lived.
The program's so successful, Liza asked LAUSD to take it even further. And again, without any experience, she launched 2 dance charter schools where she now serves as executive director.
Inequity in our society is very great. This is just one small step forward, but it is a small step forward. And at the end of the day, you know, that's the only way one can make change.
And now please welcome Liza Bercovici.
Thank you, everybody. So as you've heard, I started our charter schools and our sister organization, Everybody Dance Los Angeles, in memory of my wonderful, wonderful daughter, Gabri, to allow Gabri's spirit to live on in a way that would make a difference in the world. Today's theme is resiliency, and in the last 23 years, I've seen a lot of it. And yeah, I've had to demonstrate some of my own. So have most of you, I imagine. But where I've seen the most resiliency is among the young people and the families that we serve, who face so many challenges in their daily lives. And I've seen it as well amongst our dedicated staff, who are really the ones who took on my vision and brought it to life. My resiliency was supported by my family and my friends, including my husband David and our sons Joe and Jake. And at this point, I want to take the opportunity to recognize the friends and family who are here with me today. Ron Buckley, Leah Fisher, Meg Kasdan, Susan Gurman, my neighbor Sherry Vamos, my wonderful daughter-in-law, Melissa Smith, and my equally wonderful husband, David Axelrad, without whose support from both David, my family, and my friends, this journey honestly could never have happened. Truthfully, I've had every resource needed to help me through my darkest moments. And in that respect, I'm fortunate. Our families, in contrast, have had to struggle without much in the way of support systems or resources to help them through. My life trajectory changed 23 years ago when I gave up my practice of law to start the inner city dance program that became Everybody Dance LA in memory of Gabri, who throughout her entire life loved to dance. At the time, literally, I knew nothing about dance, but over Gabri's life, I had seen the wonderful things that dance had done for Gabri and how it nurtured and sustained her. And I thought maybe the same might be true for other children as well. And so with help from friends, we opened our first dance studio in an affordable housing project just west of downtown Los Angeles. And pretty soon before I knew it, more studios sprung up in LA's downtown and central city neighborhoods. And to my complete surprise, our program flourished. Families enrolled, talented teachers joined our faculty, and somehow, because I sure as hell didn't know anything about raising money, somehow or other we kept raising money. And gradually the word began to spread about the quality of our program. And my personal resilience project took on a life of its own and rippled through the lives of hundreds of young people like Gabri and their families. In 2001, just a year after we opened, the Los Angeles Times described our dance faculty as some of the best children's dance instructors in the world. 13 years later, Michelle Obama recognized the quality of our programs at a White House ceremony. Inspired by the success of our dance program, I persuaded first our board that had actually only signed up to run an after-school dance program, and then LAUSD to allow me to open a charter school. Our first Gabriella Charter School opened in 2005 in an affordable housing project in Pico Union. Our playground was the size of a postage stamp. Our office space was non-existent. I used to joke that my office consisted of the 3 steps between the school's makeshift library and the principal's desk. But our classrooms were airy, and parent enthusiasm was infectious. In 2008, impressed by our success, the school district invited us to come to Echo Park and allowed us to grow to a kindergarten through 8th grade. 9 years later, we opened Gabriella Charter School 2 in historic South Central, which is one of Los Angeles's most underserved neighborhoods. And here I just want to take a moment and recognize one other person who's in the audience today. Michelle Alpert, daughter of the wonderful Sophie Alpert. Michelle was Gabri's close friend at Harvard-Westlake, and years later became a 4th grade classroom teacher for us and is now the chair of our board of directors at Gabriella Charter Schools. I know you were out there somewhere, Michelle. In 2015, I stopped leading our dance program, but I stayed on as the executive director of our charter schools. In 2019, the LA Times described us as one of the best charter schools in California. When our kids, and by our kids I mean our students, because I also have my own kids, but when our students would say to me, "What's an executive director?" I would tell them that it's like being the queen, and then they can call me Your Majesty. One day after I did that, I was kneeling down to fix the shoelaces of a 2nd grader, and I heard her say to her classmate, "I've never had a queen tie my shoelaces before." So it's good to know our kids are listening. And it's these kids and their families who are the real heroes of this story, because they are the ones who exemplify resiliency. Let me tell you about Carmen Mendoza. Carmen Mendoza starts every day before 6 a.m., taking 8 buses a day from her Bell Gardens home, 4 buses in the morning, 4 in the evening, to ferry her 2 children and her grandchild to the public schools that she thinks are best for her kids, and to get to and from her job in the downtown garment district. Then there's Fernando Diaz Ojeda. Fernando grew up in MacArthur Park without either the internet or a family car. He matriculated from our charter school to a full scholarship at Harvard-Westlake, and is now, after a lot of hard work, at Emory University with plans to become a neurologist. And then there's Eva Vasquez and her family. So my friend Susan will remember this. Ava's middle child, Ozzy, was in our kindergarten class at Gabriella Charter School. The family would make ends meet because both parents worked at a car wash. But after the first year at our school, they returned to Mexico because their visas expired and they wanted to avoid deportation and potential separation from each other. So Ozzy survived some difficult years in Mexico. When he wasn't working at the family restaurant, he would use an ancient desktop computer to teach himself how to program, code, and design his own video games. Within 10 years, all 3 children made their way back to LA, living in their aunt's tiny Chinatown apartment, joined by Eva, their mom, after she finally got the visa she had waited so many years for. Sandy, the oldest child and a star of our dance program, finished high school and graduated from UCLA. And this spring, Sophie, the youngest and another dance star, graduated high school and was admitted on full scholarship to Carnegie Mellon. Ozzy, however, was not into dance. Ozzy was into computers. The LA public high school that Ozzy went to didn't have any advanced placement courses. So Ozzy took computer science, calculus, and biology at LA City College. At night, he studied at a makeshift desk that doubled as the family's dining room table. But Ozzy had straight A's, a strong SAT score, and years of mentoring. And with that, he got into every Cal State school that he applied to, as well as UC San Diego, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Fordham University, UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, UC Berkeley, Dartmouth, and Harvard, where he's now a junior on full scholarship studying computer science and AI. And now, to me, that's resiliency. Friends, look around this room. Every one of us has stories to tell about resiliency. Life is beautiful and sometimes the hardest thing we do. It turns out it's so much better when we're all looking out for each other. Please, let's do that. Thank you.
And we're just getting started. Liza Bercovici, thank you. I once asked her, yes, how did you know you could do it when you'd never done it? And she said, I just didn't take no for an answer. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us. Gabriella lives on in all those dancers and with us today. So while this conference began in 2012, JVS SoCal's Women's Leadership Network was founded in 2008, and since then has changed countless lives through their innovative and targeted programs. And one of WLN's most successful programs is not mentoring, it's Womentoring. I love that. Womentoring is a 6-month career development program that offers women with defined career objectives the unique opportunity to be paired with a mentor who has established herself in the career, that chosen field. While the program is designed to last 6 months, the relationships formed during this period often endure, and the resulting impact can be life-changing. Such is the case with a beautiful woman named Nushin Nathan. Nushin found JVS SoCal in the toughest times of herself and her family, but thanks to the power of WLN's Womentoring program, she's achieved phenomenal career success. She is now Chief Talent Officer at the National History Museum. To learn more about her journey, please welcome Nushin Nathan. You have an incredible story to share. Let's start at the beginning. Where were you before you found JVS that put you in a moment of crisis that you didn't even expect to find yourself in?
Gosh, is this on?
Here, you can use mine while you turn that on.
Hello, hello. Hi. My God, I just want to recognize that story. Like, I want to cry right now. But I won't. I'll try not to. My story starts 20 years ago. It was a really tough moment in time for my family. I had a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and my husband and I had, well, he, would spend all our life savings in his business that just happened to go away immediately. And I found myself in a really, really dire situation. And my kids attended JCC in West Valley, and I knew there was this little office called JVS, and they help people find jobs. So I was in a place where I didn't know how we were going to pay our rent or where the groceries were going to come from. It was that bad. So I went and knocked on their door and just burst into tears as they opened. And I said, you need to help me find a job. And this group of amazing women just embraced me, set me up with a mentor who couldn't be here tonight. I'm in touch with her for 20 years now. We just had lunch 2 weeks ago. Sherry Ross, and she provided guidance to me for 20 years. She helped me in that moment. These group of women reviewed my resume, called recruiters, found me a job, and this journey has been incredible.
You say you've been in touch with this mentor for 2 decades, so she's continued to be a source of guidance and inspiration to you. You wanted to get into the HR field, human resources.
I did.
And they helped pair you with that. Talk to me about that dialogue. We were talking before about there are times we have voices in our heads, and sometimes those voices can breed insecurity, like I can't do this, or who am I to do this, or the odds are too great. And you had to silence those voices. Tell me how you dealt with that and how your mentoring experience helped with that.
It was so interesting because I was blow drying my hair this morning, and I was like looking in there going, what are you doing? What do you have to say? That's interesting. You know, these are incredible women that come here. And I was like, wait, I thought that, you know, we'd made peace with each other. This voice in my head. But she was like, hello, I'm here, and who are you? So I think all of us have these voices, right? Do you all have these voices?
Everybody.
And the thing that has propelled me always, I always say, show up. So I kept telling myself, you're just going to show up. You're going to show up. You're going to do your best. You're just going to show up. And whenever I have butterflies, I know that I'm about to step into something that's going to let me grow. It's something that is going to make me better, make me stronger. And so
you push through anyway.
I do.
You show up and push through anyway. Chief Talent Officer at the museum. Talk to us, first of all, how beautiful is that?
I know. I feel like I need to do a curtsy with my title.
You're a queen too, like Liza.
Right? So Chief Talent Officer is, it's a chief HR role, human resources role. Natural History Museums of LA County are 3 museums, with the first museum in LA. And this is an executive role that leads the people culture initiatives at the museums. So I sometimes pinch myself at the thought of the people I get to work for. One is here, Paul, my colleague, and yeah, it's incredible. We get over 1 million visitors on a good year, not a pandemic year, and we really impact the lives of kids.
You inspire the awe and wonder in the natural world.
That's right.
And you have said that you couldn't have done it without that mentoring, role mentoring program, so much so that you've become a mentor yourself?
Yeah, over the course of last 20 years, I kept my mentor because I need her, but I also mentored several women who were aspiring to get into the field of human resources. And one of them is actually head of HR for a really well-known university.
So you feel that feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels so good. You know, I think that the beauty of this program is that when you've received assistance and support, you also go out there and with a full heart, with generosity, and engage and empower because you've been gifted this opportunity. So, you know, it just makes my life more beautiful.
Before we let you go, as Liza pointed out, we all have a story. And Nushin came from Iran when she was 13. And when we talk about women empowering women here in this beautiful space, there are women in the world who don't have those to empower them as we do. And I know it was important for you, particularly with the uprising that's going on, led by women just desperate for freedom. And you wanted to say a few words about that.
Thank you. There's some powerhouse Iranian woman sitting over there, right there. She's an author, but also a doctor. This is what happens. So these are our sisters in Iran who are being held back. I'm sure you've heard the theme Zan Zendagi Azadi. Life, women, life, freedom. So I just, want to hold some space.
We all hold space for women everywhere who are oppressed, because as they say, oppression anywhere is oppression everywhere. And we say a prayer and blessing that the women of Iran and all over the world who are in oppressed situations can feel your love.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nushin. If you are moved by Nushin's story, Eliza's story, and you want to support women like them, please look on your tables. All the information is there that you need. Any support is so appreciated, and it'll be there all day long. So please take a look and do what you can. So every year, the WLN recognizes women leaders with the Rosalyn L. Zuckerman WLN Empowerment Award, named after philanthropist, mentor, and champion of women's rights, attorney Roz Zuckerman. Roz is with us today. Roz, will you please stand so that we can acknowledge you appropriately? Yay! Powerhouse. This year, we present the Empowerment Award to a true pioneer and a longtime friend of the WLN, Rachel Werby. Rachel's connection with the WLN began when she spoke at the Women to Women Conference in 2014. She illuminated her remarks with the addition of music and dance, electrified the audience, and was acknowledged with a standing ovation. Oh, beautiful. A musical trailblazer, Rachel is one of the few female conductors in the world. In addition to serving as music director of the Pasadena Pops from 2000 to 2010, and music director for opera star Jesse Norman for 15 years. Rachel is the founder, artistic director, and conductor of the Magnificent Musique. And yes, so Musique is a beloved nonprofit performing arts organization making radically engaging live music experiences accessible for everyone. And by partnering with over 20 local nonprofits, Musique gives Rachel the platform to create lasting, meaningful relationships with people in the community that have often been overlooked. She believes that live music for all is a basic human right. And Rachel's themed events are designed to feel like intimate journeys through unexpectedly connected musical histories, sounds, and genres. And during the pandemic, instead of just sitting idle, Rachel and her staff are very busy making a series of over 150 short videos called In a Minute or Two to send weekly to membership to uplift them and help let the hard realities of the world melt away just for a few minutes, as only the arts can do. And recently, Rachel held a concert for the student body at Jefferson High School, whose alumni include Etta James, Barry White, Alvin Ailey, Dorothy Dandridge, and many other jazz and soul greats. Rachel's performance not only entertained the young audience, but also educated them by highlighting all the music that had been created by their alumni and the multi-block stretch of South LA's cultural avenue around them. As Rachel always says, music is oxygen for the imagination. Rachel Werby truly embodies empowerment through her bold, brave, and authentic presentations of music, dance, and art, by her dedication to the underserved youth of inner city communities, and with her commitment to exposing as many people as possible to life-affirming possibilities of music. On behalf of JVS SoCal Women's Leadership Network, it is my great honor to present the 2022 Rosalyn L. Zuckerman WLN Empowerment Award to the incomparable Rachel Werby.
First, a huge thank you to JVS SoCal and the Women's Leadership Network for creating this incredible event, which has been an important part of my life, as you just heard, for many years. We're all grateful for the incredible work you do to lift up women in our community and to help us see new possibilities for ourselves. Congratulations to all of today's speakers, and a special congratulations to my friend, Debbie Powell. You, Debbie, have ignited and amplified my activism throughout the course of our dear friendship, and I'm deeply grateful to you. And to Terry and Jerry Cole, you are my biggest champions. Thank you for believing in me and in music from its inception. I would not be on this stage if it weren't for you. You have always empowered me. I'm humbled and touched to receive the Rosalind L. Zuckerman Empowerment Award. Thank you, Rosalind, for everything that you've done for this planet, which allows me this humble moment. Empowerment says everything to me. For me, music is empowerment, because for me, music is about equity and social change. Music is what fuels our imaginations and enables us to believe in a world that's better than the one in which we currently live. When I was training as a conductor, no one believed that as a woman, I could lead an orchestra. In fact, I was told quite emphatically that my being a woman would prevent me from understanding the deep meaning in music. Luckily, music told me otherwise, and so did my mother. Music has always made me believe in myself and has allowed me to achieve what others said was impossible. That's why I have dedicated my life to empowering others through music. At Musique, we want to do more than make great live music. We want the women and men, but especially the women, who hear our work to discover powers within themselves, powers that perhaps have been hidden. No further words I can offer will really capture the occasion more dramatically than words that come with music, which are called lyrics. So because I am who I am, from the depths of my heart, I offer you a musical gift in my dear friend, Gabby Moreno, and what she is going to perform at my request is a song that I consider to be an anthem of empowerment, written by one of the greatest women empowerers of all time, Carole King.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend there. When the skies above you should turn dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow, just keep your head together and call my name out loud. soon I will be knocking at your door. Yeah, you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, come on, I'll come running, running, running to see you again. Oh yes, winter, spring, summer, or fall, yeah. All you have to do is go, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Hey now, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, now, but don't you let them. You just call out my name. Come on, everybody. And you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. See you again, yeah. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. Oh, yeah. You got a friend. Yes, you do. And it's good to know, and it's good to know you've got a friend. Yes, you've got a friend. We love you, Rachel.
Rachel Werby, you are a jewel in the crown of this city. Was that fantastic? And leave it to Rachel to bring Gabby Moreno. You may not know, but Gabby Moreno is a major Latina star and American star from Guatemala. She wouldn't be able to walk around there. She is like one of their brightest stars, Grammy, Emmy Award nominated. But she also works on behalf of children and villages in Guatemala and works as the U.S. ambassador to UNICEF for the Guatemalan children and does so much amazing work. So what a treat and a pleasure to have her here and share her beautiful voice. So our next featured presenter is the beautiful Lorna Little. This woman is a community leader. She is an author who currently serves as the president and CEO of St. Anne's Family Services. And as president and CEO, Lorna has developed innovative programs for children and families since 2018. Understanding the power of communication and connection from sharing their stories, Lorna connects media, public speaking, and the field of social services. It is my honor to share a bit more of her powerful story and her leadership and her vision.
She was pregnant in high school, felt the shame and stigma of being a teenage mom. Not all were supportive.
I remember a teacher vividly looking at me and saying, "I thought you were so smart." And I remember how I felt in that moment, and it hurt.
But it didn't stop her. In fact, it fueled her mission. Today, she's at the helm of St. Anne's Family Services. Lorna Little, she helps teen moms get all the support they need with comprehensive wraparound services to live their best lives. Her message, if she did it, so can they.
What works is giving hope. What works is saying, look, we're going to give you everything you need to be successful.
You really focus on taking away the shame.
These are children still, many of them, in their teens, still in their formative years, and you approach them as young women who had challenging experiences and need support. And that is game-changing, isn't it?
It is, because how do you maneuver under the cloud and weight of shame? How can you rise?
You really want to infuse this sense of confidence and a sense of self in these young women. How do you get them to see who they are and their potential?
It takes time and trust. Trust and relationship is the key with that. They're not going to just trust you right away, but with time and with giving them the support and the guidance and showing them that you're going to show up and be there for them, no matter what, even when they make mistakes, because we're all human.
And now please welcome Lorna Little.
Congratulations to all the honorees and all the speakers. And Giselle, you heard that scream back there. That was her cheering me on. So this is really, truly sisterhood. Are you ready to bounce back? I said, are you ready to bounce back? You may ask, bounce back from what? Just being able to be in this space together here today is the start of our bounce back. As we've all had to take a step away from connections, activities, and our level of certainty because of the impact of COVID-19, or as I call it, COVID-19 20, 21, and 22. Everyone in this room has been required to step back in order to step up at some point during their life. Some of you may feel like you haven't really had to deal with anything too difficult to bounce back from, while others in here may feel like the gap is too wide, too deep, filled with so many tears that you may need to walk on water to recover, to be able to bounce back. The layers of our resilience may vary, but we have all faced something in our lives, and many of us are on the journey to overcoming these barriers. There are some balls on the table, and you may be wondering what they're for. These balls? Well, that is a gift from me to remind you of your resilience and your ability to bounce back. I would love to have you bounce them. Thank you. I think that's table 2 over there clapping. I would love to have you bounce it. Now, see, this is important to listen to this segment because you're ahead of me, okay? I would love to have you bounce the ball in here today, but there are too many lawyers in the room, and I do not want to be sued if anyone gets hurt. But I really want you to hold on tight to that ball and bounce it virtually in this space when you hear something that resonates with your story. Use it when you get home and you have a moment when you need a reminder that you are resilient and ready to bounce back. When you feel the stress of life, throw it down and watch it light up, rise, and bounce back just like we all do daily. Even though each of your stories, each journey may not be the same, it is important to see how we all have the amazing capacity to bounce back with the power of caring, guidance, skills, faith, and support from each other. I serve as the president and CEO of St. Anne's Family Services, an organization started in 1908 and built on the respect and belief that everyone has the opportunity for a chance to bounce back. St. Anne's works to provide children and families with an optimal life experience in every aspect of life. As the leader, my goal is to assist in removing barriers to success and to change lives for generations to come. And so is our mission. Our mission is so in sync with this fantastic WLN organization. I stand before you today as a small representation of bouncing back. Today, you see a well-respected CEO of a nonprofit organization with a $35 million operating budget.
If I painted a portrait of my younger self, you would see a young woman from an economically disadvantaged community whose parents hadn't finished high school and who became pregnant as a teen. Statistics would suggest that I should be struggling on a corner, not seated in a corner office. I thank God I had the sense of myself, even with all that I've shared that has gone on in my life. When my high school teacher found out I was pregnant, she looked at me with a sense of disappointment and said, "I always thought you were so smart," clearly signaling that I had thrown my life away. I channeled that hurt, that shame, and fear, working through morning sickness and severe exhaustion, and kept my grades up. I bounced back. When I dreamed of going to college, even though my hardworking parents had no college funds, I applied and got into the local state university. I bounced back. When I had to care for my baby girl and endure sleepless nights with all-night study sessions, I still managed to get great grades. I bounced back. When I experienced insecure childcare during my college years, when I had to ask someone to assist and there wasn't anyone available, but I finally found Women's League Child Care Center, a wonderful Head Start program, I bounced back. While juggling college classes and child rearing, I interned at the United Way info line. Many of you know it as 211 at this point. I handled crisis calls involving people dealing with suicide, domestic violence. The United Way hired me for a full-time position before the end of my internship, a first for them. I bounced back. When I had no connections but wanted to explore my love for talking with people, I love talking with people, and television production, I went to a local community station and started my own show and recruited my husband as my cameraman. I bounced back. Later, you would see some of that work on national television. In my 30s, I accidentally found out that I was adopted. I took the pain, shock, and uncertainty as motivation to uncover my family history, and then I wrote a book about the journey called Mum's the Word. I bounced back. When I shared my story in Oprah's magazine, I used the experience to support other adoptees. I bounced back. I then took on the helm of a home for young women and children, helping foster youth and families. At that moment, I crossed from bouncing back to giving back. It was a tremendous and blessed moment. Oh, how far we've come with our resilient spirit. We have to see the potential in all people, in all people. We have to speak words of life and hope to the most vulnerable and help them believe that people are not undeserved, but underserved. Don't mix those words up. Underserved, not undeserved. Every day that JVS SoCal Women's Leadership Network provides support for women, they are helping build layers of resilience for those inevitable challenges and difficult life moments that will come. As you see the hope and vision for the lives of everyone you help, supporting them as they reach their full potential, you're helping them bounce back. How we approach setbacks in large part determines our level of success in life. This is why it is so essential to possess a resilient mindset. Developing resilience won't make your challenges go away. Be very clear, they will not make that happen. However, it will give you the ability to bounce back faster so that you can live your life to the fullest and reach your goals. The great thing about resilience is that it's a trait that can be learned, cultivated, and practiced. Just like a muscle, you need to exercise it every single day. Now, I'd like to ask you to stand up For those of you that have a ball, raise it in the air. And there are those that don't, just raise your hand because you don't need the ball to be resilient. And declare, I am bouncing back today. So let's practice this because I know about getting everybody on the same page. So we're going to say, I am bouncing back today. I'm resilient. One more time. I am bouncing back today. I'm resilient. Thank you.
Lorna, you're phenomenal. Her book, Mum's the Word, is such an incredible read. And she also does something called Momversations. Such a beautiful, beautiful series of conversations herself. All right, shortly we are going to hear from our final speaker, just as powerful and inspiring in her own right, Chief Kristen M. Crowley. She's going to share her groundbreaking story, becoming the 19th Fire Chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department, the first woman. But first, it is my honor to introduce to you our second WLN client, Winnie Sakai. For so many women in career transition or crisis, the barriers to a rewarding and fulfilling career can seem very insurmountable. Like, how am I going to get this done from where I'm at? And often the challenge is entry-level education and training. In partnership with Women's Leadership Network, JVS SoCal provides intensive, no-cost, 8-week career training programs that provide that opportunity, and they can change lives forever. And one such program is called HealthWorks, and it prepares individuals for careers as certified nursing assistants, or CNAs, in the rapidly growing healthcare and senior care industries. In addition to job training, HealthWorks offers job placement, assistance, and ongoing coaching for career advancement. I would like you to meet HealthWorks graduate Winnie Sakai, whose resilient spirit and remarkable story reveals the unexpected challenges of a mother's love. Please put your hands and hearts together for Winnie Sakai. Oh my gosh, Winnie has such an incredible story. She came here from Uganda, didn't expect to stay, but did. And you had a dream to become a doctor. Tell us what your life was like when you came here and what your dream was and what happened to you.
Hi, everybody. My dream was to become a doctor when I was back home, but then I didn't do great in biology. So I changed my major to accounting, and I got a degree in accountancy, and then I got a job in the King's Palace as an accountant. So the King's Kingdom, they travel to the United States of America every year for a conference, and it so happened that I had to travel because I had a position in the King's Kingdom. So when we traveled to the United States, this was heaven. So during our conferences after, we would go down to Hollywood to look at the beauty of America. And after the conference, it was time for us to go back, and I didn't go back.
The lure of a dream.
I stuck behind because I knew I'll get my dream from here. I knew I would do better here than back home.
And that's when you found out you were pregnant.
I got pregnant a year after with my beautiful girl, Danielle. But things didn't go well with the father, so I had to stay all by myself with my girl. So I've raised my girl all by myself with the help of my parents back home.
So you wanted to get a job here, but you decided you wanted to become a nurse instead. But the pathway to get training and go to nursing school was expensive, and you found yourself in a really challenging circumstance. Is that right?
Yes, that's true, Giselle. It was so hard being a single mother. Every paycheck that I got was for bills. was for my rent and food for my daughter, both of us. So one time I sat down and was like, how long am I going to be a caregiver? If I turn out to be 60 years and 70 years, I won't be able to help an 80-year-old because I will be older too. So I won't be able to do it.
So you were working as a caregiver. That
Yes.
was the way you were making a living.
Try. So I spoke to my friend who was an RN. She's called Sharon. And I asked her, Sharon, how did you make it? What does it take to go back to school in America? So she took me through everything. And I got stuck because of money. I was like, I get 2 paychecks every month, but I split it into my bills and the food for my girls. So I was like, no, I don't think I'll be able to go back to school. But then after some time, life was getting so hard. I would wake up very early in the morning, 5 a.m., to get myself ready. And then 6 a.m., I'll take my girl to the babysitter in the cold sometimes. And then I'll come back home, get my bag, and then go to work. And then my shift would end at 7 p.m. I'd get onto the bus very fast because it took me 1 hour to get back home. And actually, I would get back home at 8 p.m. and then see my daughter. She was tired then. She couldn't even know the love of mommy because I was working 5 days a week. So I was like, I need to change the life of my daughter, more especially. So I called up my mom. I told Mommy, I'm going back to school. I've made my decision. But Mommy, I can't do 3 things at a time or by myself. I have Danielle. Now I'm enrolled in school and I need to work in America. Can I please bring Danielle to you so you can take care of her on my behalf? I remember my mom telling me, Winnie, I have no problem with that. When is she coming? I said, well, Mommy, give me something like 2 months because I have to get money for the ticket. 2 people. 1 for myself return and then for Daniel, it's only 1 way.
And then you made the hardest decision ever and you sent your daughter back to Africa.
Yes.
And you were working as a caretaker.
Yes.
And by chance, trying to figure out how am I going to get to nursing school and afford it and all the books and all the classes. You tell the story. Someone from JVS knew the caretaker and helped you.
Yes. So I get this other job. After Danielle was back to Uganda, I got a second job. Now, this second job, I was taking care of a lady, a very sweet lady. She was called Harriet Glickman. May her soul rest in eternal peace. And today is her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And so one day she saw me coming because I would begin my shift at 10 p.m. in the night because I had school from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So she one day saw me coming with a bag of books. And she asked me, Winnie, what's in that bag? I said, they're my books. She said, are you going to school? I said, yes, I am. She said, where are you going to school? I said, Valley College. And then she said, what are you studying? I said, nursing. I remember that night she kept quiet and she continued watching TV. Her daughter, Catherine Moore, visited her mother every day. So she came in and she would speak to her mother. So I think the mother told her about me. I didn't know. I didn't hear anything. I was busy doing now my homework. But I want to tell you something that every time I came in at 10 p.m. from my shift, Harriet would first tell me, I want you to sit on the dining table and have dinner. I know you're going to do your homework. Go to the refrigerator, there's your dinner, get it out, eat at the dining table, and then you can do your homework. When I'm ready to go to bed, I'll let you know. That's how kind and sweet she was. So when I came back the next day, Catherine called me and said, Winnie, my mother told me you're going to school. How are you managing? So I told her my story. I said, Catherine, I'm going to school, but I'm working, and I'm trying to pay my bills and my school. I'll get there, everything. And then she said, I have been to school. It's not that easy. I want you to tell me, how are you paying your tuition? I'm like, well, I pay my tuition in bits until I am done. But I can't enroll in the next class if I'm still on hold, if I have a debt.
And what did she tell you?
And she told me, Winnie, I'd like to help you. I'd like to connect you to JVS. These people will help you pay your tuition. I was like, they're going to pay my tuition? It's a lot of money. And even the textbooks are so expensive. But you see how I'm shaking?
You got an impact grant. And
that's how I was shaking when I was speaking to her. She said, I'm going to call somebody, and she's going to talk to you and everything, and we would like to help you. I'd like to see you prosper. I'd like to see you finish school. The next day, somebody from JVS called me, and they said they would like to pay my tuition, everything for school. I was the happiest person in America. All the burden had gone off my shoulders. I was now concentrating on school. I got really good grades. I got a 3.5 GPA.
Woohoo!
And all thanks to Harriet and Catherine and JVS and WLN. I don't know where I would be without JVS. But I know where I would be. I would still be in college trying to finish my prerequisites because I'll be missing my classes, But I was smart on the other side. I knew I would not be able to enroll in the next class. So what I would do, I would go to class, talk to the professor, and then the professor would say, well, Winnie, you're not on the list, but make sure in 2 weeks you pay the debt and you get enrolled in class. And the 2 weeks made sense to me because I would be getting my paycheck in 2 weeks. So I would use it to pay my tuition.
And in 2 years, you'll get your nursing degree, is that right?
Yeah, 2 years I'll be getting my nursing degree, but I am not enrolled now. I'm waiting to be enrolled, which is a little bit tough, but I'm positive I'll get into nursing school.
And then you'll be reunited with your daughter.
On my graduation day, she'll be back here.
Fantastic. Give her a round of applause. Winnie, anything else you want to share?
Yes. I come from Uganda, and there is a certain way we thank the people who have made tremendous changes in our lives. We go down on our knees. Mm-hmm. No, don't do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
When in Rome.
I would like to thank America. I'd like to thank the American people. I'd like to thank JVS. I'd like to thank WLN. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Debbie and Rick Powell. I'd never seen you, but they invited me over for dinner at their house. It was the first time to see these kind, sweet people helping somebody they didn't know, but just out of the blue, just hearing my story. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, America. Thank you, all the kind people. God bless America. And I promise you, all of you here, I will never disappoint you. I am bringing this bachelor's science degree in nursing, and I'll come back here again and show it to you.
She's already has.
And again, I promise to take care of you all one day, somewhere. I love you all. Thank you.
Winnie Sakai. What does your name mean again?
What's that?
What does your name mean again in Ugandan?
Power.
Power, and power. She lives up to that name. Winnie Sakai. Please, if you want to support women like Winnie, please look at the information on your tables. Any support is so valuable. You can see the impact it makes in such beautiful lives. Thank you very much.
Please welcome WLN Executive Council Chair Lauren Kurzweil and JVS SoCal Board Chair Leland Fencenthal.
Wow. I don't know if I can even speak after that. Thank you, everyone. I am so inspired by listening to our keynote speakers, to our clients, to our honoree stories. About 5 years ago, I was actually sitting in this same room, attending this conference for the very first time, maybe like some of you are today. And I remember I was so moved when I heard about the Women's Leadership Network and their support of all of the programs that they do for women. So fast forward to today, I am very proud to stand before you all to support our mission, and I'm just as proud of the members of the Leadership Network the Women's Leadership Network Council, who work so hard to forward that mission. I also want to recognize one other person. We've talked about moms. A few people have mentioned their moms. I have a mom in the room. She's 90 years old, and she has been a mentor and somebody who I very much look up to. And so I just want to recognize how important women and moms and role models are to everybody in this room. So thank you. I also want to recognize the names of the current and emeritus WLN Executive Council members. So if you can please rise, hold your applause until all the names are announced. Joan August, Linda Brown, Alex Carter, Jane Cohn, Eileen Koski-Fracchia, Eileen Goodis, Ellie Heisler, Barbara Leannes, Nancy Paul and Debbie Powell, D'Angela Proctor, Judy Rosenberg, Deb Schwartz, Trinka Soloway, and Leslie Spivak. I am honored and very much in awe of our success, and thank you all so much. I said it. Speaking of success, as JVS SoCal's Women's Leadership Network celebrates our Woman to Woman Conference's 10th birthday today, we want to take a moment to acknowledge our history, or herstory, and how far we've come. The WLN was created over 10 years ago by 3 friends who are passionate about supporting JVS SoCal's Womentoring program. They were inspired by the stories of women beginning exciting new careers, so they started a giving circle to help fund the program. These 3 accomplished philanthropic leaders, Debbie Powell, Judy F. Rosenberg, and Eileen Koski-Fracchia, along with a newly formed council, organized the first Woman-to-Woman Conference. Since 2012, the council has proven its resilience, they've expanded its scope, and they have more innovative programs launched to countlessly transform the lives of many women. So in appreciation for Debbie, Judy, and Eileen and their visionary leadership, the council has created a special award in their honor. This is called the Founders Award, and it's presented in recognition of exemplary service to goals of our organization. This special award has been designed by Piece by Piece, who also produce our Empowerment Award each year. And now joining us for this presentation, please welcome JVS SoCal Board Chair Leland Felsenthal. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. On behalf of everyone at JVS SoCal, I wanted to join you here today as we celebrate a most significant milestone, the 10th anniversary of the Woman to Woman Conference. As a vital partner, Women's Leadership Network shares JVS SoCal's core mission to empower individuals to achieve dignity and economic independence through sustainable employment. We understand women face unique career challenges such as unequal pay, limited access to leadership positions, and finding quality, affordable childcare. Since its creation, the WLN has targeted those challenges and raised over $4 million for numerous JVS SoCal programs serving women. It's an impressive record of transformative change that began a decade ago with 3 friends and a small council of like-minded women who share their vision. That resilient friendship has created an enduring legacy that continues to grow and support the programs that are so vital to all our clients across Los Angeles and Southern California. On behalf of JVS SoCal and Women's Leadership Network, Lauren and I would like to present the 2022 Founders Award to Debbie Powell, Judy F. Rosenberg, and Eileen Koski-Fracchia.
Thank you, Lauren and Leland. I just wanted to take a second to thank all the people here today that came with all that's going on, with all this, mishigas in this world right now. Thank you. I'm truly overwhelmed by all your presence. I would like to take a moment to congratulate the wonderful Rachel Warby. Rachel uses her gift to music not only to entertain, but illuminate and educate. When COVID forced our conference to get online, we did a powerful, moving tribute by her to the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Rachel has been a great friend to the WLN and for so many years to me. Thank you so much, Rachel. In 2008, I was sitting in a luncheon just like you guys, hearing my stories of all the women that were being helped by JVS mentoring program. My husband, Rick, was president of JVS at the time. Rick has taught me everything I know about love, life, and philanthropy. In fact, he has probably also taught most of you here about giving at some point or another. Thank you, Rick. Rick's here, and my daughter Ashley are here, and my sister, and my family, and my friends, all my friends. Rick has helped, so Rick asked me to help him with a culmination luncheon honoring the mentors and mentees of the WLN mentoring program. Claudia Finkel so brilliantly created, she's here today, and Diane Shapiro, who's also here, who runs it. Yay. I listened to the stories of all the mentors and mentees that had gone through the program, and something moved me. I sat with Nusha Nathan, and she had told me her story, and that was it. Judy Rosenberg and Eileen Koski-Fracchia also heard the stories, and they too were deeply touched. We started bringing more friends in to hear these stories, and Judy asked me, who's financing these lunches? And I said, Rick and I, of course. And Judy said, we need to create a giving circle to support this good work. Judy was a development director at the Fulfillment Fund, and she had started giving circles for other organizations. Eileen, at the time, was a 5-year JVS board member, and she joined us, and together the 3 of us created the Women's Leadership Network to support women in the mentoring program, with a $1,000 membership and a council to run it. We continued to network, and the group continued to grow, and after a few years, we had raised $100,000 to finance this program. Judy can't be with us tonight because she's recuperating from knee surgery, 2 knee surgeries on the same knee, in fact. She has put her heart and soul into this group. She was critical to starting to raise the money. She should be here in person to get this honor, but we have a message from her. Please listen.
I wish I could be there today to accept this honor in person. I always look forward to our annual conference, and I'm so sorry to miss this year's event. I would like to thank Lauren for her fantastic leadership, Leslie and Linda for being such incredible co-chairs of the conference, JVS staff and WLN staff, Lindsay and Sophia. I'd like to thank my husband and my family and friends that have supported all of our efforts throughout the years. Many years ago, Eileen, Debbie, and I were brainstorming about women's issues, and a seed was planted. Today, that seed has grown into a strong and resilient tree you see on our WLN logo. Because of your involvement and generosity, the Women's Leadership Network is able to help so many women in JVS programs, including Vets First. These programs help women find rewarding careers. You do make a big difference. Again, I'm sorry I'm not there with you this year, but my heart is with all of you. My wish is that you continue to be inspired just as I am. Enjoy the conference, and thank you again.
Wow. I'm so moved. I'm moved by
our clients' stories. I'm moved by our speakers. I'm moved by the lyrics and the music, not just out of that incredible performance, but of that what we're generating together. Wow, just for a minute, just look around. I have to take it all in. This is a big room, and there's a lot of us. I love the anthology that, I love that too. I love the analogy. I'm having fun here. I had one of those chocolate kisses. I don't think that was a good idea. Judy used when she talked about seeds to trees. We know all too well that the time between planting seeds and yielding incredible trees involves many steps and resources. Tending to the seeds at every stage is critical to their growth. The WO Mentoring Program, the one that's been mentioned, is where the WLN was and is rooted. As a matter of fact, the WLN originally stood for WO Mentoring Leadership Network. Our mission from the start has been women helping women through professional transition and crisis. The program originally ran 2 cohorts a year of about 18 to 20 participants. And we had the most incredible women mentors volunteering of their time matched with each mentee, as Nushin mentioned. It didn't take much for Judy, Debbie, and I to enlist our friends, families, and personal and professional networks to support that mission. And of course, to find ways to serve more women in addition to the 30 or 40 that were originally going through the WO Mentoring Program. By the time we held our second Woman to Woman conference, we had renamed our group to the Women's Leadership Network and expanded our reach to support many of the JVS CAL's programs along with the impact grants. As JVS continued to evolve programs and services, so did we. We continue to raise money and resource to serve the growing number of women participants. We're motivated by the fact that women work, and when they work, they invest 90% of their income back into their families. By focusing on girls and women, innovative businesses and organizations can spur economic progress and expand markets and improve health and education outcomes for everyone. This is important work. We're here for important work. Being recognized for the work one does is amazing. Being recognized for empowering others to work and succeed is surreal and simply beautiful. I'm so honored and appreciative of this recognition. Thank you to my wonderful family, Dawn, our children and grandchild. I'll show you a picture. My given and chosen friend families. Special call out to my mom, Ria Koski, who was on the board of directors when Rick was president, and invited me to come on to the JVS board and get involved. Debbie and Judy, I love you. Thank you for including me in your vision and mission. And with that,
on behalf of Judy, who shares our passion for JVS SoCal, we thank you for this acknowledgement. Find something you care deeply about, share your passion, and you too can make a difference.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's impossible to represent the full impact of change on so many women's lives over the 10 years of conferences. This is the appeal part. But here are just a few of their faces.
encourage you all to donate to support this important work. Please text LEADER to 41444 or use the pledge card on your tables, which you can drop in the lobby when you exit. All funds raised for the conference will go to our JVS programs across the board to women.
Does everybody see the card and everybody see what you're supposed to do? Terrific. If you're here today and you're a guest of someone or through a corporate sponsorship, feel free to donate, and also feel free to come to any of the council members or any of us and ask how you can get involved. This is an urgent appeal because the more we raise, the more we can really help women. Debbie talked earlier that over the first couple of years, we would raise money by having a membership drive in essence. And in the first couple of years, we were able to raise up to $100,000. And this year, we had a momentous goal so that we could be there to support the need for women. So we had a goal of
to reach over $1 million, hopefully.
So we have a drum roll because our goal was $1 million. And guess what?
We did it. We raised it. Thank you. Because of the Coles also, we have surpassed our goals. So thank you again to the Coles, which is, I'm going to segue to that right now. Thank you. Thank you all for making a difference. As part of our 10th anniversary, WLN's Women to Women Conference has created a new Impact Award to recognize those organizations or individuals who have made significant and lasting contributions to our community. This year we present our inaugural WLN Impact Award to two inspirational philanthropists and champions of women's issues, Terry and Jerry Cole. Whenever I think of Terry and Jerry Cole, I see a heart symbol that comes to my mind. The heart represents not only their passion they have to make the world a better place, but also a tribute to their loss of their small child caused by a heart condition. Terry and Jerry are known by many as the dynamic couple who own the family-owned jewelry and accessories boutique line, Brighton Collectibles. Alongside their business success, giving back and doing things for people is at the heart of who Jerry and Terry are. They donate generously to many institutions and share a deep commitment to empowering families through supporting the health and welfare of women. Since 2003, the company, along with their personal foundation, has contributed millions of dollars to a variety of causes. Rick and I have been friends with Terry and Jerry over 30 years, and we know the depths of their hearts. It makes me cry. When I was helping organize this conference 10 years ago, Terry and Jerry were early and passionate supporters. They have joined us as presenting sponsors for many years. When JVS SoCal needed an update to their IT operating systems, Jerry and Terry stepped up, once again making a major donation and offering a donation match. In the LA community, Terry and Jerry have opened their hearts for many organizations, including all that support health, education, and music. When Notre Dame had its horrible fire damage in 2019, the Coles gave 20% of their Ferrara purchases that led that year to aid to the restoration. They support the Art Center of College of Design, where Terry has served on the board for many years, and the Rose Garden Tea Room renovation project at the Huntington Library, where they recently donated decorated shuttles for the grounds. Terry and Jerry's love of music has led them to support the Music Center, where Terry has been president of the Blue Ribbon organization since 2019. They have been long supporters of the LA Philharmonic, the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra, the Hollywood Bowl, the LA Opera, and Rachel Werby's Musique, where Jerry is on the board. The Coles are helping to build a 1,000-person concert hall designed by Frank Gehry at the Coburn School, which Michelle Kendrick is an alumni. They have purchased 2 Stradivarius violins and lent them to the Los Angeles Philharmonic and the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra. The Coles donation have also provided band uniforms for Pasadena City College. They've generously supported a variety of causes for the Huntington Hospital and the expansion of the Heart and Vascular Center, Concern Foundation, Beit Teshuvah, City of Hope, including the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Souls for Souls, which provides shoes for people in need, and numerous charities that feed the hungry in and around the companies which Brighton serves. Terry and Jerry, profound impact extends beyond the greater Los Angeles area to the global community. Their devotion to the charitable organization they support is inspiring. Their heartfelt joy in helping others is deeply felt by all those who benefit from it. Because of their continued generosity, the Coles have taken us well over the $1 million amount for this year's conference. Terry and Jerry, from the bottom of all our hearts, and especially mine and Rick, thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to present the inaugural Women's Leadership Network Impact Award to my friends Terry and Jerry Cole.
Honestly, I just came to say thank you. I've been crying the whole time. It's such an amazing organization they started, and we're so happy to support it. We're so proud of them. And my husband wouldn't tell me what he was going to say, so it's going to be a surprise for me, too.
Thank you, guys. I was going to say something, but we've said it all today, right? You guys are amazing. Everybody here who gives with their hearts means a lot to everybody. So thank you all.
Isn't it great in a world that's so crazy, someone else mentioned it so right, that we have in the presence of such beautiful people. It gives you hope and reminds us of our shared humanity. Congratulations to the Coles. What a beautiful, beautiful award. Our final featured speaker today is Kristen Crowley. What a powerhouse spirit and visionary leader. Kristen is the 19th Fire Chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department. First in history. With her wife and children by her side, Chief Crowley took the oath of office on March 25th, 2022, becoming the first female and LGBTQ+ fire chief in the LAFD. Chief Crowley is dedicated to supporting LAFD's youth development program and actively supports a culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity. Here's a little bit more of Chief Crowley's story. Please watch.
Making history at LA City Fire. After devastating fire seasons, accusations of bias and discrimination against women and minorities within LAFD, Mayor Garcetti announces the retirement of Chief Ralph Terrazas, at the helm almost 4 decades.
Today I am nominating Kristen Crowley.
The new chief, a precedent-setting hire.
I, Kristen Crowley.
Do solemnly swear?
Do solemnly swear.
When 22-year veteran on the force Kristen Crowley was sworn in, she became the first woman in history to take the reins, inspiring worldwide attention and a promise of change.
Kristen Crowley, how does it feel to be called chief?
It feels wonderful. I'm energized, I'm inspired, all at the same time. It's just an amazing historical moment, and I feel it, truly, it's in my heart.
Well, you have made a history and career of firsts. You've held almost every single title in this department, so fire marshal, paramedic, engineer, deputy chief. You really understand the depth of this department you're taking on, don't you?
Right. How am I better to lead and supervise the members if I didn't understand what their jobs were? Being a paramedic, this is a first. I don't think we've ever had a paramedic in a fire chief's position that actually literally holds the rank and the license of a paramedic. Again, that'll help me make better decisions.
You are known for trademark confidence or a sense of self, feeling comfortable in your skin. And I think that might help you as a woman in the force. How did you cultivate that kind of strong essence that's centered in the seat of your soul?
I think some people are just wired that way. And I think being an athlete, I'm not going to give up. You're not going to break me. All of those pieces, I think, brought me to this day today to be able to talk to you about this historical moment. So it's so much of the last 50 years of my life have really led me up to this moment.
And now please welcome Chief Kristen Crowley.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am very, very honored to be here to speak with you and to share my story. You talk about inspiration. You're going to hear a few of the points that I wanted to share with everybody in regard to a few things. Talked about bouncing back. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about a little bit of lessons learned as well, but direct parallels of what you've heard all day. And you talk about the inspiration of everybody here, of what you've been able to do throughout your lives, let alone how you impact those around you. And that's why you're here. So thank you very much for being here. I'll just share a little bit of my story. So, yes, you saw a little bit of the video. I'm the first female, first LGBTQ, first actual mother of 3. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. The first paramedic fire chief. So there's a lot of firsts here, and I think if we were to poll all the different tables here, I think that we would probably have a lot of firsts that you've been part of too. So what does that mean? To me, I understand it is a huge historical moment in regard to being the first female fire chief for the Los Angeles City Fire Department. And with that, 136 years. And it's a first. So I do not take that lightly. And what I mean by that is understanding that, I talked about a little bit also, is everything I really feel has led me up to this point. So I want to talk a little bit about the story and a couple lessons learned. Lesson number 1, there's opportunities out there for all of us, right? And if we have the opportunity and actually pay attention to those particular moments in our lives that might want to push us in a different direction, that's exactly what happened to me. My background, I'm a Midwest gal. I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So, holy moly, did my accent just come out? It did. I've been here for almost 23 years, but here I am. So here I am, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Grew up super focused. I was a student athlete growing up. And lo and behold, I go to college, played 2 sports, soccer and basketball at St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana. I'm pre-med, on my way. I want to be an orthopedic surgeon. I had a couple knee injuries. I'm like, I want to fix that, because that's what the doctors did for me, and I bounced back. So with that, moved to California, and here I am. My eyes are wide open, focused, super, super focused. But the lesson that I learned is with the focus that we all have when we think we have certain goals in our lives, that a little door might be cracked open. A little bit. Maybe a seed is planted that we just kind of don't pay attention to, and we're not going to pay attention to it. Just we keep focusing on what we need to focus. Study for the MCAT. Start applying to medical schools. I'm on my way. So I figure, I want to become an EMT. I'll get a little experience in the medical field. So, here's where things change. And these are the opportunities that I'd like to share with you if we pay attention to them. A captain from LA City walks up. I'm working as an EMT, trying to get some experience in the medical field, and he hands me his card, say, LA City is hiring. LA City, what's the big deal about the fire department? Never knew anything about the fire service. I want to be an orthopedic surgeon, focused. You should check it out. It's something for you. Check it out. LA City's hiring. Oh, put it away in my back pocket. Don't think about it. Go to paramedic school in between the time. Interested enough in paramedic school, as we're supposed to be doing our internships, it's time to figure out where we're going to do our ride-outs. And here we are. Who wants to go to LA City to do their ride-outs? Nobody raised their hands. I'm the only woman in the class. Nobody raises their hand. Well, why is that? LA City's hard on their women. LA City is hard on their paramedics. Do not do your internship there. Don't go. Raise my hand. I'll go. You do not want to go to LA City. Yes, I do. Let's go. I'm in. Let's go. But also that little seed was planted just maybe 6 months prior to that with that captain say, hey, LA City is hiring. You should check it out. So go through my internship. I walk into the fire station. Within, and I'm not exaggerating, within probably 5 minutes, I felt like I was home. It was a very special place. I knew immediately I'm going to have to work hard. I knew immediately that I'm going to have to prove myself. Mind you, even back then, almost 28 years ago, and now, we are at 3.5% women. 3.5. So I'm going to do a little golf clap, but there's a lot more work to be done. So it's interesting, right? Now, I'm the fire chief of LA City. So when we talk about paying attention to those certain circumstances in your life, and I know we have to remain focused, and I get it, but lesson learned for me is pay attention to those doors. Might be cracked open, and pretty soon you just got to kick that door down, right? And now those opportunities are there for you. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, let's just say this was a common theme, and I thought this was really interesting. We talked about self-doubt. We talk about, I like to say, turn down the noise in your head. That self-doubt. I tell you, there's too many dang obstacles in our way, let alone getting in ourselves' way. So with that, many, many times throughout my entire career, I have doubted myself. I'm not going to stand up here and say, I knew I was going to be the chief. Absolutely not. There was times in my career where, guess what? I don't know if you noticed, but I'm 5'4", 5'5" with my boots on. I have to do the same job as any other firefighter on this job. So with that, got to turn down the noise, first and foremost. So the question is, well, how in the heck do you turn down the noise in your own head? Because believe me, everybody, if I were to poll everybody here, I think we've had a little self-doubt, whether you're a man or a woman in this room. We all have self-doubt, but how in the heck do we get out of our own way? I'll give you a quick example of that. With that, we have a 35-foot extension ladder. It's about 180 to 200 pounds. It's normally a 2-person ladder. We actually throw the ladder, we call it, we take it off the truck, throw it up against the building. We throw it 2-person. So with that, somebody of my stature, I tell you, I had a little self-doubt. But 180 pounds, that's about, I'll say 30, 40-ish pounds heavier than me. So these are the things and the obstacles that are ahead of you. But with that self-doubt in my academy, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done physically and mentally. And to push through that, understanding first and foremost, what do we have control over? We have control over for sure what's in our own heads, what's in our own minds, and the own obstacles that we put in front of ourselves. So with that, make sure that we turn down the noise. It's really, really important. Now, lesson number 3, let's just talk about it. Bringing value to the table. What does that actually mean? Again, I think it's being part of your team and bringing value with each of the unique things that we bring. We all bring a unique perspective. We all bring valuable characteristics and problem-solving abilities to whatever your team may need, especially within the fire service. It's really important that you do bring value to your team. So with that, what does that actually look like? We know diversity of thought. We know what that means, but actually how do we leverage that and use that? I'll give you another example. Something as simple as I was rising through the ranks, and we talked about it a little bit in the video, it was very, very purposeful. It's very important. It was for me knowing, okay, if I'm doing a 180 and I'm not going to be an orthopedic surgeon, I'm going to push, I'm going to drive, I'm going to make sure I understand my job. I'm going to build my credibility, my competency, my character throughout my entire career, and I'm never going to become complacent. So with that, did I have to work harder, longer? Absolutely. But hey, that's all worth it when it comes to pushing through the things that we need to push through. The credibility piece is very important within the fire service, and I'm sure across whatever organization you work for, but with that comes purposeful, strategic action and how you set yourselves up for success and how you bring value to your team. Working up through the ranks of firefighter, paramedic, engineer, fire inspector, Captain 1, Captain 2, battalion chief, assistant chief, deputy chief, chief deputy, and now fire chief. That's my path. So with that, that was again very purposeful because no matter what, especially in a male-dominated type of environment like the fire service, the eyes are always going to be on you, and they might be on you a little bit longer, especially as being a woman and only 3.5% women within the fire department. with that, brought credibility, and I understood that no matter what, nobody can question if I'm qualified for the job in every single rank. So I think when it comes to the strategies that you bring forward, especially as we're talking about setting up individuals that we want to positively impact in their lives, just some of these strategies of being very purposeful in our action of how you're going to bring value. You become so valuable to your team, hey, it doesn't matter. They cannot function without you. So that's a really important strategy as well. So again, purposeful action and what we're trying to do and bringing value to the team. One other point I wanted to talk about, and this is a bonus because it's really, really important, and one of my favorite words, and I think it's really important, I know that I certainly have lived by this, is balance. People often say, oh, how did you do this? How did you push through the adversity? How do you push through the physicality of the job? How do you manage your family? How do you manage work? How do you bring that all together? Because usually something has to give. It has to. How do you do it all? And I tell you, I stand before you knowing that you certainly can have it all. You can have it all. But with that, it's purposeful action. It's not putting one in front of the other, although I will say every single action, every single decision that I make, my family always comes first. Always. My daughters, my wife, my family, my core of who I am, everything starts there, and I build it from there. But certainly with all the different directions that you get pulled in, with how do I manage to start at home? Yes. But that balance is huge. And it does start, and not a lot of people like to talk and think about this, but the balance, first and foremost, you have to take care of yourself, your physical side, the mental side, the mental health side. If you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others? You can't. And oftentimes, I think as mothers, daughters, sons, fathers, whatever you are, wow, if you don't take care of yourself, it won't work, I can tell you, because we've seen these ebbs and flows. And we pay attention to those around here that don't have the balance, and they lose their families. It's not worth it, I can tell you. So balance, balance, balance is so important. I want to talk about a couple strategies. Also, learning how to say no is really hard. It's really hard, especially you want to push through. You want to show your value, so those opportunities come up, like I just talked about. Yes, I'm your person, yes, but there is a key to that. So when it comes to learning how to say no, somebody kind of put that at my ear early on in my career, and it says, it's a little nicer way to say it, but that just doesn't work for me at this moment or at this time. So learning to say no will actually help you balance what you need to balance. Setting boundaries is a big one, right? Something as simple as today, where if you pull out all of your calendars, and our days are full, they're packed. But understanding, if you set those boundaries, especially as professional women and professional men, and those boundaries are set from, those boundaries are set from the beginning, then that expectation is what it is. Friday mornings, I'm going to hang out, I'm going to get my kids off to school, I'm going to do something in the morning with my wife, and then it's on. I am 100% all day, and that's what I'm going to give you. But know that boundaries are really, really, really important, that we understand how to utilize those and leverage those. One last thing I wanted to talk about is just controlling your schedule, and that's part of the balance. You can fill your calendar until the cows come home. That's a Wisconsin thing, I guess. Till the cows come home. But with that, it's really important to understand, put some time in there. My mornings, I show up in my workout gear. I get a heavy workout in the morning, and I'm on. I don't stop. I'll tell you that. And then, hey, then you set those times aside. It's really, really important. I'm going to go to the soccer game. I'm going to make myself available. And oh my goodness, we all know how important and what a gift life is. I think we are constantly reminded of that. I am wearing a badge cover today. And what that means is we lost one of our firefighters last week on the 9th. constantly reminded of how precious life is. And as we continue to push and strive and do what we need to do and take care of ourselves, take care of our family, we have to be able to really understand that each and every moment is such a gift. And sometimes we forget that. I'm reminded of it as I'm wearing this badge cover. So just remember, and I think that we do, I think we're pretty good about that, but life is precious. So we have to really ensure that we're making the most of every single moment. We have to take purposeful action, stay on track, and live a happy and balanced life. So to recap, remember to seek out those opportunities. You bring value to your team. Turn down the noise in your head. You have control over that. And live a balanced life in both your professional and personal lives. It's been a true honor to be here today to share and collaborate with you. I'm walking away extremely humbled and extremely inspired. But we all know that there's a lot of challenges ahead of us. But we have proven time and time again that we've got this and the future's bright. So stay safe and be well, everybody.
Our thanks to Chief Crowley. Wow, what a privilege to have her with us. It's been a relatively calmer fire season than we thought, and we're in good hands. Thanks to JVS SoCal Women's Leadership. Thanks to all our inspiring speakers. Please join our family. We need your support so we can support more women like this. Have a beautiful afternoon. We'll see you next year.